We are starting with a triple shooting that left one man dead. This happened in Pasadena.
Some breaking news in Pasadena tonight, where police right now investigating a shooting.
1, 2, 3. OTM.
So I guess to summarize it up, what makes us different is it really is about more than just basketball.
Pasadena, Texas, the only Texas city to place in the top 10 small American cities of the future. One of the fastest growing municipalities, Pasadena, Texas offers a winning combination of natural resources, an ideal location, growing transportation infrastructure, and proximity to airports and the Port of Houston. This business and community-friendly atmosphere make Pasadena a thriving city of the future.
All right, I'm Coach Adam. Everybody knows me as Big A, and I'm the director for OTM Elite.
What's up, y'all? It's Coach Danny, OTM Elite.
I chose Pasadena because this is where I'm from. This is where I grew up. I grew up on off of Jackson and Center. I went to Pasadena High School. I went to Jackson, the new Jackson, which that's what we called it, and the old Jackson. A lot of people may not know, but where Days of Allah is, that used to be Jackson Intermediate. So I went there. I went to Cruz. Cruz was across the street in the football field of Pasadena High School.
Oh, I'm from the downtown part of Pasadena. Most people kind of know it as like the old Pasadena, and I attended Pasadena Memorial High School. It's not too far, probably about 10 minutes from deep Pasadena, but yeah.
The goal is to bring Pasadena back. I think, and what I mean by that is, you know, I grew up here in Pasadena, so this is my old stomping grounds. I moved away about 5 years ago. I moved to Pearland. I don't really have the opportunity to come back on this side much. But coming back to this side, in my opinion, from Southmore to 225, it looks like everybody's kind of forgetting about the community of Pasadena. I think OTM is here to give back and to try to bring back this part of the city, because I feel like if we don't, we're gonna lose it.
It definitely kind of makes me sad in some ways, just due to me growing up here, man. I see the potential in what it could be, but man, it's definitely not a good side. It doesn't make me feel good as from a person being from Pasadena, just seeing in the direction it's kind of going. Don't get me wrong, I definitely see some, like, as far as homes and stuff goes, like, it's definitely trying to put a little bit of life in it, but I would definitely love to see more businesses thriving and stuff like that.
Over the years, everybody's migrated towards Fairmont. Fairmont is the spot to go, and I have nothing against Fairmont. I think that area, I still shop in that area. I think the world of that area. But as far as where I grew up in, it hurts a little bit to see a lot of the houses are run down. You know, people are still trying to bring them back, but a lot of small businesses have been shut down. So my goal, I guess from here on out, is to try to buy the whole city back. Is it gonna happen? I don't know. It's rare that I fail at what I do, but I'm definitely gonna try. Even if that means buying houses, buying businesses. I know OTM is about to open their first car wash on Pasadena Boulevard, and we're looking at a second location not too far here from the headquarters.
I feel like, man, it's gonna help these younger kids grow up and just we're gonna try to get them to think different, man. We're gonna have tutoring after school, you know what I'm saying? There's gonna be like a safe haven for the kids that don't got one. And I'm not saying that's like our only target, man, but we really wanna help the kids who don't got nothing like that. You know, we wanna have, yeah, like I said, tutoring. If they don't got something to eat or they need something to talk about, whatever the case may be, we wanna be there to help them and show them the right paths that, hey man, like somebody will have your back, you know what I'm saying? Or you do have somewhere to come to where you're not dealing with a bunch of other stuff, you know. But yeah, we want to try to impact their lives in the most positive way possible, no matter what that may be.
First and foremost, OTM's a family. I think a lot of people try to use that as a selling point is, oh, well, we're a family over here. Man, OTM really is a family, and none of us are related by blood. You know, You know, me and Coach Danny, shit, that's like a brother to me. You know, we've grown close together over the past couple of years. You know, I've watched him train my son. I've watched his dad train my son. I've watched them train a bunch of other kids, and we feel like a family. If they need something, I'm here. If I need something, I know they're there. All the kids, I've watched them. You know, I've watched them fight. I've watched them argue. I've seen them come together, and when it really matters, they come together and they win. You know, that's what makes us different. I think that we targeted a group of kids that I honestly feel like we're the underdogs. If we didn't bring them together, nobody would have looked at them. Hell, I had one kid that another coach gave him to us. You know, he was like, here, and that turned out to be, you know, one of my top stars. So the underdogs, I think that's what makes us different, and our heart. It's, you know, we don't give up. A lot of people have tried to intimidate us. A lot of people have talked down on us. A lot of people have judged us. But when they're doing all that, I mean, we still come out on top. We still win. And when I say win, I don't want that to get twisted. I don't mean we beat y'all by 50 or 60 points, because yeah, a lot of teams we do beat by a lot. But when I say win, I mean that we take a life lesson from what we experience. You know, we're not just teaching these boys, and I've heard the saying, oh, this is more than basketball, this is beyond basketball. Is it though? What are you doing? What are you teaching these boys? You know, because I feel like with OTM, we tell these boys day in and day out, even if you don't choose basketball as a career, training every day, getting up when you don't want to be here, that's life. You know, a lot of people have to get up and go to work, and they don't want to. But guess what? If they don't, their bills don't get paid. If your bills don't get paid, you don't have a cell phone to watch TikTok, and you don't get to pay the cable and watch movies. You don't have a roof over your head. So that's what we're trying to teach them. You know, that this is a part of life. And if they do go to college, we're preparing them now. This facility that we're building, not only is it for the community, but it's also to teach these kids. Like, in college, you are gonna hoop. You are gonna get up early and go to practice. You are gonna go to school and pass those classes that you have to take. We're teaching them now. We're preparing them. You know, so that's what makes us different, is we take this serious. We take this for real. This is not for fun. It's not a joke. You know, I want to see all of these boys age out of our program, and I want to see them succeed, whether it's in basketball or not. So I guess to summarize it up, what makes us different is it really is about more than just basketball.
I think there's a lot of good restaurants, bro, definitely around here. You know what I'm saying? I feel like yeah, most definitely there's a lot of good restaurants, man. But there's a restaurant right outside, a little orange building right outside of Jackson. It's called Las Fuentes, man. It's a really good restaurant. It's aiming like Mexican homemade food, man. It's just like, man, there ain't nothing like it, man. It's like, there's nothing but love for that food. But yeah, that's definitely my favorite restaurant, man.
My most memorable moment, and everybody's gonna laugh at this, but man, we used to break dance at the mall. And we'd go after school and we'd break dance in the corner going towards Dillard's. I know everybody's gonna say, oh, well, Macy's was over here. No, before Macy's, it was Foley's. And it did have a Dillard's. We used to break dance there. But yeah, just that and going to eat Chick-fil-A. You know, Chick-fil-A was in the mall. I don't think that Chick-fil-A had a store like where you could go through the drive-thru. Like, you had to go to Pasadena Mall, and man, it was good. Yeah, so that's one of my most memorable moments. I also remember, once I started having kids, my kids used to love, especially my two older ones. We would go to the mall and get an ice cream. There was an Asian gentleman that had an ice cream shop right there in the food court, and it was like $1.50 for a cone. And I remember them being little and taking them, and you'd spend $1.50, and they were like the happiest kids in the world to go get like a sherbet ice cream, or I think one of them always wanted mint chocolate chip. Like I remember that. That was pretty cool.
Maybe that's where we would go. My parents would take us to Pasadena Mall. We would hit up the Foot Locker or whatever the case may have been. the Macy's or whatever. But just going in there, just spending quality time with the family, man, and just having that to look back on, and just be like Big A was saying before, man, that mall over there used to be crazy. Like it used to be like Babe Ruth, you know, back in his kind of glory days.
For 2025, man, like I said, we're getting back into the community. I'd like to start off with an Easter event. I do want to throw the biggest Easter egg hunt that Pasadena has ever seen. So that's probably going to be my first event. The goal would be to have an Easter egg hunt for all age groups. You know, we're looking 10,000, 15,000 plus Easter eggs. It'll be totally free to the community. Then after that, I want to have a movie night inside the gym. We'll let the community come in, watch a movie. We'll play a kids movie. We'll have sell popcorn, pickles, stuff like that. It'll be a movie night, but it'll be some kind of community event. Aside from that, after that, definitely every year OTM has thrown a back to school event. I definitely want to throw one. This year, this will be the biggest back to school event that we've ever had. We'll host it here at the OTM headquarters. We'll probably throw an end of the year school event for all the kids. All the kids, you know, if you passed, man, we're going to have a big end of school bash here at the headquarters. Christmas, every holiday we're going to try to do something. I know this year for Thanksgiving, we're going to have a big Thanksgiving dinner that'll be totally free to the community. Everybody can come out and eat. We'll have volunteers out here trying to give back, you know, serving plates. If there's anything like that people need, you know, we're going to try to fulfill those needs.
A bystander was somehow also shot. We spoke to a woman.
As far as the crime in Pasadena, man, I really, to be honest with you, I haven't paid much mind to it. But I do see that there is a lot of, that there has been a lot of things happening out there, you know, as far as this younger generation. You know, I feel like they are picking up guns and all this other stuff. But then again, it all falls back to the leadership, man. I feel like Pasadena hasn't had some kind of mentorship or even just a great leader in the area to speak to these kids. And that's one of the things that OTM is going to do, is we're going to try to speak to these kids and tell them, man, that's not the way to go. There's always another route. If you want something, you have to work for it. You know, because if you don't, if you just try to go take it, one of two things is going to happen. You're going to end up dead or in jail. And we definitely don't want that for this younger generation. And that's not just me speaking. That should be the entire community, because they're the ones that are the future. They're the ones that are going to run this world, you know, when we're already old or when we're not even here. As far as the police, I don't really speak on that part much. I can't say. I did get pulled over the other day, and one gave me a ticket, but yeah, I don't know. I just think that the police have to understand that, especially my generation, we were brought up in a time where I feel like it was not taught, but it was preached that we didn't like the police, you know, because at that time there was still a lot of shady things going on as far as with that department. But I think that, you know, eventually we do plan to sit with the chief of police, and if he's watching this, man, this is his opportunity that I'm calling him out. Let's have a conversation, you know, let's figure out how we're gonna all come together and clean up the streets and figure it all out. I think OTM's doing their part. I don't necessarily think, or I'm not trying to say that the police are bad people, because they're not, man. They're human beings just like us. Everybody's had a bad experience, or they've heard of a bad experience, therefore there's a bad name for them. I don't think that them guys are bad. I think that, you know, hopefully they all understand and they all want what's best for the community. So in the future, you know, the plan is to get them to OTM headquarters and have a day where they can actually meet the community. The community only sees y'all in the cop car, and you know, let's be honest, we're raised that, oh man, Pasadena cops are the worst. Man, come show us that you're not. You know, let's sit down, let's have some coffee with the community, man. Let's do coffee and donuts with the community, and let them know y'all are here to help. Maybe that's why some people don't pick up the phone and call, because they feel like they shouldn't or they can't. But I think if we all come together and everybody realizes that they're human just like us, they have lives, they have families just like us. Hell, OTM might even say, man, let's play the police. You know what I'm saying? Let's put them in a uniform and let's play. Let's see who wins. You know, let's have fun with it. But yeah, as far as that, man, I can't speak on them too much. I do think that a conversation needs to be had, and we need to all sit down and figure out how are we going to take back the streets of Pasadena? How are we going to clean up the community? Because that's the goal. Man, I will tell you this, that Pasadena Inn Motel, my goal is to buy it and tear it down. Get rid of it. I think that's the number one thing that needs to happen. We need to buy that hotel and tear it down. So whoever owns it, I'm going to figure it out, and we're going to figure out how to buy that thing and knock it down and put a nice business there, or build housing there, or build an apartment complex or something. But we're definitely going to get rid of that spot. Man, I know growing up there was a lot of things that we did in the community that kind of kept us out of trouble. There was a lot of things that we picked up that got us in a lot of trouble. But I definitely learned a lot from this area, you know, just the love that we got, you know, from everybody in the area, from the community. I remember, I think they still do it, but I remember even back then going to the Strawberry Park, the firefighters threw some kind of event, man. We'd all show up and get the little red hat, you know what I'm saying? Everybody wear that thing around. We thought we were the coolest people alive. But it definitely made me want more. It's not so much that I wanted to leave. It was just I wanted something a little bit better. But I always told myself, you know, if I get out of here, if I make it, I'm always gonna come back and try to give back. And I stand on business, you know, that's what I'm here to do. I made it out, and I'm here to try to give back. But a lot of lessons learned, man. I think being very small, there was like a Boys and Girls Club, you know, and I've had this conversation with a lot of people. And when it was open, I used to go there. We'd play basketball. We'd get a little snack, and then we'd go home. You know, growing up, you know, my parents, they worked. You know, both of them worked. So I'd go there, and then I'd go home, and you know, when they'd get out of work, they'd come pick me up, and I stayed in like a YMCA program at the school. There was actually, I think they still do it. It's called something completely different now, but we'd stay out, a group of us that their parents worked, we'd stay after school in a program, and the first thing they do is help us with our homework. We'd play games, they'd feed us, and then, you know, when your parents got out of work, they'd come pick you up. So definitely remember that. I know they still do similar things to that, but the number one was the Boys and Girls Club. That's where, you know, basketball started. We started playing basketball there, and you know, and then from there it moved to, I think, the Salvation Army, and then, you know, Powell's Gym picked it up. But by then it was, I don't think we had a ride to Powell's Gym, or it was just, you know, at that time too far to walk. It definitely, like I said, Pasadena, there was a lot of lessons learned out here, just growing up, struggling, and you know, we didn't have the things that people have today. We didn't have the resources. We didn't have the schools where you could go and graduate with some kind of degree or some kind of certificate, you know, that we didn't have that. Everybody, you know, you were either in the streets or you were trying to get a job and go work in the plants. You know, that's what it is. And I think that, you know, now these kids have a lot more opportunities, and I want to make sure that they understand that. Like, you have the opportunities, you have the resources, take advantage of it. Because then it won't be as hard as it was for, you know, people like me or my generation. It's easy. It's practically given to you. You just got to go take it.
You can't guard me!